If you have around 5 minutes, I'm going to show you how you can recreate this in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to want to do is load your player pictures onto the canvas. And something that's really important to making your graphic look good is getting high quality pictures. And I usually just find mine on Instagram, like the player's Instagram, or sometimes the school's football team. So if you get pictures that look somewhat similar to the ones that I used, it'll be easier to follow along. It doesn't have to be extremely similar, just something that's kind of similar. And I also added the stadium, the Arizona State football stadium, behind to the right there, because I thought it looked cool as a backdrop, especially with the mountain like fading in to the helmet almost. And then I sped this next part up after putting the exposure way up, so I could use the brush tool to clear up all of this excess stuff that transferred over with the photo. And that will happen a lot of times. So I just used the brush tool to delete all of that was under the chair. And now after doing that, you can see that it looks like the stadium is behind the chair and behind him, which is what I wanted it to look like. And then right here, I was just transferring in the other half of the picture for the stadium. And I just, if you're on a Mac, you can just hit Command J at the same time, and it will copy whatever layer you're on. And I really just wanted it to get to the point where the stadium and the mountain was the backdrop. It was the back part of the graphic. And then right here, I went down to the rectangle tool and then right-click on it, and then click on the ellipse tool that is right under the rectangle tool after you right-click on it. And I wanted to get the exact color of the jersey to be the color of the little oval or circle that's right here. So I just went over to the eyedropper tool, and whatever color you want to use, you just click on that exact part of the graphic, and it will transfer over the color automatically. And if it doesn't do it automatically, which it usually will, you can just copy it and then paste it back into the graphic. And then right here, I was just adding some text. I did it wrong at first because he's actually a DB. He's not a wide receiver. So you'll see at the end that I changed that. But you can use whatever text you want, whatever you think's good. I got most of these texts that I use from online and sites like Dafont.com. And then after doing that, I wanted to add a little bit of background to the graphic. So I went and just I looked up aerial view of Tempe, Arizona, which is where Arizona State is located, and then I just put that as the bottom layer, so it'll be the furthest back layer in the graphic. And then right here, I was just adding a camera raw filter to the front picture that I used for the graphic, because the graphic of him sitting in the chair is like at the front. It's in the middle of the graphic, and you can pause and see exactly what filters that I use, but it's usually the same pretty much for each of them. I just like to either make it a little bit darker or add some texture, but texture and clarity and exposure is usually what I mess with the most for the camera raw filters. And I forgot to mention, the way that I got the text, the wide receiver and the number 5 text to look like that with like the yellow outline is you just the little FX in the bottom right of the screen, like on your on the Photoshop tab, the FX, whenever you click that, I use the drop shadow and then the stroke, and then you can play around with the colors. But after you click drop shadow and stroke, after clicking the little FX in the bottom, which is for the effects, then you just click drop shadow and stroke, and you can play around with it to get it to look cool. And then right here, I just added in 2 logos that I thought could enhance the graphic a little bit. And then right here, I just was doing what I was just talking about, which was the drop shadow and then other effects. But yeah, I just wanted to add the Big 12 logo and then the Arizona State logo to make it pop a little bit more. And then I really like these circles that aren't like fully completed. They're kind of off a little bit. They're like hand drawn almost. I kind of like that. It looks cool. So I also added that, and then I brought the layer. I put it under the logo so that it didn't overlap with them. And then I also turned it using a black and white filter and then going over to the red stab and just bringing it all the way down to make it black. I thought the red circle was just a little too much, so I wanted to change it to black. And then right here, I was just adding one final camera raw filter. And to do that on a Mac, if you want to mask all the layers together to make one camera raw filter, you just hold down Command, Option, Shift, and E at the same time, and it will bring all the layers together. And after you put the final filters on, here's the final result. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. And if you want more videos like this, please just let me know in the comments. Thank you.